Does anyone remember FTL? Many who played through it remember it for its delectable difficulty level and replayability. It's a forgotten gem of a game that was released on September 14th of 2012 and became a huge entrance into the roguelike genre. It caused a large boost in interest in other roguelike games. It received very good scores on its release, receiving a 9.6 from IGN, an 84% from Metacritic, and an 89% from PC Gamer. This game's success paved a way for more roguelike indie games to come into the limelight. Just think, if it weren't for this game where your cutie patootie is getting smacked from one side of the universe to the other, you might not be able to play other popular roguelike games such as Risk of Rain or Don't Starve. Of course, FTL being a roguelike game, its job is to flatten you into an interstellar pancake with challenging enemies and pulverizing you with any bad decision you make. I can almost guarantee that you will not beat this game the first time you try playing through it. Make sure to start on easy mode, as the difficulty settings of this game love to lie to you. Easy mode is actually imminent doom, normal is even faster imminent doom, and hard mode means that you've put so much thought and time into the game that maybe you should go outside just a little bit more. After a few rounds, you will get the hang of things and be able to go from a newbie to being a pro. The only thing that rivals FTL's infinite replayability and plethora of content is the ever-expanding Black Abyss where my soul should be. Although this game does keep up the typical difficulty stereotype of most roguelike games, it isn't cruel. The more you play the game, the easier it will be for you as you pick up more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to make it through. Do keep in mind that each game is randomized. From the encounters, shops, goods, events, practically everything except for the actual final boss itself is randomized every single time you hit that start button. There are many ships that you can unlock while playing FTL, all by completing their own individual special missions that you can randomly encounter while playing the game. Each ship has multiple layouts, and you can unlock every layout by completing specific tasks for that ship. Each layout can contain different crew members, different types of weapons, or starting gear, so make sure you try them all to find out which one best suits you. Make sure you keep in mind what ship and layout that you're using, especially if you're aiming for a specific type of run, as some ships are better at specific playstyles than others. For example, the NG ship is predispositioned towards a more drone-orientated setup. Of course, that doesn't mean that you can't try to go in guns blazing with the NG ship, only that other ships would have an easier time attempting that kind of run. There are tons of randomized events that can take place on any given playthrough, and I'm not talking about finding shops or encountering enemies to play space battleships with. I mean actual events that you and your ragged, extremely unqualified sack of potatoes that you call a crew will have to deal with. Every situation generally has multiple ways to deal with it, and special, generally safer and better options, shown in blue, being offered if you meet certain requirements. Having an upgraded sonar system or med bay, or having certain types of aliens in your crew can also open up these special dialogue options. Some of the beacons that you will jump to will be completely empty, and this can be either good or bad. If you are desperately in need of resources, then you can be wandering around all over the sector trying to find anything, while other times you can't catch a break at all. Leveling up your crew's proficiencies will make them better at those specific traits, and there are 6 different traits that can be improved upon in-game. None of these skill improvements will carry on to any other character or into any later runs. All skill improvements are for that run only. It is completely possible in theory or through specific events to completely maximize one person's stats in every field. Just note, however, it would take an extremely long amount of time and luck that you probably aren't going to have. Also, just because one person is completely maxed out and the perfect being in the entire universe does not make them invincible. They can still die just like everybody else. The improvable skills are piloting engines, weapon control, shields, repair, and combat. Piloting helps dodge enemy attacks and allows for your crew to jump to the next sector and continue through the game. Engines help with dodging enemy attacks, sort of like piloting, but it's the second slot to help improve your odds. It may seem redundant, but having the extra amount of evasion can mean the difference between a win and an early loss. Improving the weapons control skill lowers the amount of time it takes for your weapons to charge up and be able to fire. Improving the shield skill allows for the person to reduce the cooldown timer it takes for a shield to come back online once broken. The repair skill speeds up the time it takes for an individual to repair damaged systems faster and get those systems functioning again. Lastly is combat. Leveling this skill improves the amount of damage that they output to either enemies or enemy systems in hand-to-hand combat. In order to level up the respective skills, have the crew members actually practice it. Want someone's combat proficiency to improve? Have them punch everything that moves. Want a faster repairman? Ship them off to every broken, burning, and crumbling part of the ship. Who cares if it has a hole in the side of the wall into the vacuum of space? Lock them in that room until they either die or fix whatever multitude of problems your vessel happens to be afflicted by. The different alien races have varying specialties. You know, except for us humans, we're just basic. We have no major special abilities or anything going for us, but I mean, if you're on a budget and you need an extra crew member, we're usually the cheapest to buy off of a slave or a shop. We do, however, level up our skills about 10% faster than all of the other alien races. Next up are the NG. I mean, are they cyborgs? Robots? Nobody really knows for sure. What really matters is the fact that they are immune to almost all diseases and are amazing mechanics, having the automatic base repair speed double that of any other race. Of course, spending all that time with technology and no combat experience gives them only about half the base combat ability. At least we know we won't have any Terminator-style revolts happening from them anytime soon. Oddly enough, despite being made up of supposedly mostly nanobots, they still die without oxygen for some reason. The Ferocious Mantis species is almost a complete opposite to that of an NG. Having a 150% base combat multiplier and a base speed of 120%, it allows them to dance around their enemies and be a real force to be reckoned with. Many enemy Mantis ships tend to have teleporters, sending some nasty space thugs right to your pilot's seat. You will probably want to deal with them right away, as they can be quite vicious and they're always on the hunt for that booty.
Help! I'm under attack by a lesbian!
I want you to fuck me, Jerry! Fuck me!
The rock people are unique. They apparently are very religious in whatever it is that they believe in, worshipping the almighty space donut or whatnot. They also tend to be extremely tough, with resilient bodies rivaling that of stone, granting them immunity to fire. Along with the Mantis people, the rock people are a warrior race by nature, being extremely aggressive towards unfamiliar ships. They don't tend to travel a whole lot, so in their homeworlds is where you're most likely to find them sitting around waiting for a bloke like you to meander into their asteroid belt so they can have some target practice. The rock people are no joke. With a whopping 150 health, this gives them the largest health pool out of any of the FTL races. Because of their large frame and bulky size weighing them down, they only have a base 50% movement speed. Combining these guys as your teleporter boarding crew with fire-causing weapons can lay waste to enemy ships extremely quickly. Keep in mind that that strategy won't be as useful against autopiloted enemy ships with no oxygen or crew on board them. The Zoltans are an interesting bunch, being made up of almost pure energy. I'm not quite sure how they actually maintain a form instead of just flopping around like some sort of alien ragdoll. Zoltans have the ability to provide one power to whatever system it is that they're occupying. Of course, any subsystems that don't need active power to function will not receive the power bonus from a Zoltan being in that room. Being a humanoid casing filled with complete energy, upon death they explode, causing 15 damage to every enemy in the same room as they were when they died. With base 70 health, this makes them quite frail and doesn't really give them much options in a hand-to-hand combat. Now for the fun times with the extremely racist and xenophobic slug race. Known for being extremely manipulative and greedy, this race is extremely difficult to find, as it is the third most elusive out of all the races in the game. They use their psychic powers to overcome the visibility impairment caused by the nebulas in which they make their home. Having one on your crew allows you to see the location of all your enemy's crew members even if your sensors are down or non-existent. Due to their psychic nature and powers, they are also immune to the mind control in the advanced edition of the game. The crystal people are rarely found and are extremely difficult to come by. Said to be the predecessors of the rock people, they take reduced suffocation damage and have a solid base health at 125. Crystal people also have the ability to lock down whatever room that they are in. This can be used to lock intruders out and keep you safe, or lock them in and force them to fight. However, they are a little bit on the slow side with a base speed of 80%. The crystal race was actually added to the game due to a donor on their Kickstarter giving $2,000 US to the campaign. And finally, the Lanius. These aggressive metal scavengers have a tendency to drain all oxygen from whatever room it is that they inhabit. This could cause them to become deadly adversaries if they decide to attempt boarding your ship, as well as hazardous to any non-Lanius crew members. Just like the crystal people, they have a base speed of 80%. Because Lanius drain oxygen from whatever room they're in, they are completely immune to suffocation damage, and they are not harmed by being in any oxygenated rooms. The currency in this game is called scrap, and it is used in purchasing things from stores, as well as repairing ships and upgrading your systems in reactor as well. You can collect scrap by defeating any enemy or by completing randomized missions that you may encounter throughout your game. One thing I must commend this game on is its consistency. Once you learn how each type of weapon works, it will always follow that rule. The advanced mode update is also free for anyone who has the game. If you have yet to purchase this game, then advanced mode will be available to you as soon as you download it. Advanced modes adds new types of weapons, systems, and even access to new ships and alien types that you wouldn't have access to in the main game. The story for this game is mainly put into the background, but the lack of an upfront story is not a hindrance to it at all. In fact, the bare-bones setting allows for each playthrough to be its own unique story of triumph and peril, a stroke of good luck, or how you hit a brick wall and had to go back to the start before you could even get going. It makes every playthrough meaningful by giving them each their own identity. It's still my job to tell you the rundown of the story though, so if you're ready, here we go. You and your crew are part of the Galactic Federation, an organization set up to maintain equality between all the alien races. The Rebellion is a human supremacist group, responsible for the death of millions as they plan on taking down the Galactic Federation, claiming that humanity cannot reach its full potential if it's being chained down by the other races. You and your motley crew have the vital information on taking down the Rebellion and stopping these intergalactic space racists. Your job is to take that information back to the remains of the Federation before the Rebellion takes over and all hope is lost. With the amount of randomization this game has and all the ships and layouts there are to unlock along with the achievements, you can play this game for hours and still have plenty left to do. And if you ever do get bored of the plain vanilla FTL experience, you can always slap a mod onto it for even more replayability. Unfortunately, I feel like this game has been left floating dead in space after a few years from its release. This is a game that I've always enjoyed, and it even manages to play on my old laptop. It's always a decent pickup, especially when you're traveling and you still want a slice of that spicy roguelike difficulty. It may not be a perfect game, but with a full playthrough on average being around 1 hour, or drastically shorter if you fail miserably like I do, it's a great game to be able to sit down and play casually and relax to, or try to be serious and maximize your utilities and implement new strategies. I would highly recommend giving it at least a try. Who knows, it might be the forgotten gem that you've always been looking for. Thank you for watching. Sorry about the long wait between this video and the last one. I was in South Africa for a while working with some animals. Here's a picture of Malachi. He's a sweet ditzy lion cub and I love him and he's my spirit child and I miss him. As for more relevant matters, if you like this video, don't forget to leave it a like, and you should also check out my other Forgotten Gems video. It's right over there to your left. I mean, if you want to subscribe to the channel, that'd be pretty cool, I guess, but I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. Also, thank you so much for all the support on the previous episode. It really does mean a lot. Well, no matter what it is you choose to do, I hope you have the best day you can, and safe gaming. Last minute addition, just so you know, I'm gonna be heading back to South Africa throughout all of July 2018. I'm going to be doing the Living with Big Cats program through Volunteer South Africa. I'll leave a link down in the description for you in case any of you wanted to join. Hopefully I'll see some of you there, but if not, I hope you all just enjoy life.